This video has over 15 million views at the time of this recording, and now I completely understand why. This is the craziest story I've heard in a long time. It's titled, "I agreed to get an older woman pregnant, and she tried to ruin my life." Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. We're pausing on our election coverage to just veer off and cover an insane story that's been going viral on TikTok and other platforms. Today, we're gonna meet Brett Fairley, who decided to post his saga, his story, what he's going through online after getting an older woman pregnant and having her trying to ruin his life. We're gonna let Brett tell his story and react to it today, and we'll go on this crazy ride together.
This is the story of me agreeing to get an older woman pregnant and then her trying to ruin my life. When I was 23, I had a one-night stand with a girl from my hometown named Maria. We both knew it was nothing more than that, and we didn't speak after. Several months later, I received a text from her saying that she hadn't been lucky in love and she wanted a baby before it was too late. So she asked if I would get her pregnant and I wouldn't have to bear any responsibility, like a sperm donor. I considered it, and I first thought no, but after some time to think about it, I thought it'd be the right thing to do for someone struggling.
Okay, pause. I couldn't even get 40 seconds into the story without having to pause and unpack what we just heard. First of all, you had a one-night stand. She hits you up months later, meaning she's been sitting on this for months just thinking about asking you to be a sperm donor. And she says she's been unlucky in love. My first question would be, unlucky how? And whose fault is it? If you're meeting somebody who's an older person, you're 23 years old, you just slept with them, and now they're hitting you up to be their sperm donor, I'm thinking we got a red flag on the field. You know what I would do if I was Brett at this point and I'm on the phone with this woman and she's asking me to be a sperm donor? I'm gonna tell her I need a moment, go onto my phone, log into Google Maps, type in the nearest sperm bank, screenshot it, and send it to her.
Just come out whenever you're done.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
You need a sperm donor. Why don't you go to a facility that will provide you one? Why are you hitting me up, a 23-year-old man? But apparently, he goes through with this, so let's keep watching.
So we filled out an ironclad agreement, and basically I wouldn't be responsible at all. A while later, she told me she was ovulating, and then a few weeks after that, she told me she was pregnant and it had worked. I went back to California for work, and we didn't speak after that. Unbeknownst to me, she contacted my family behind my back and invited them to the baby shower. They then began getting dinner or whatever regularly, and as she got to know my parents started encouraging me to be in the baby's life, and once I found out it was a little girl, I thought it was the right thing to do. I flew home to be there for the birth, and I got a tattoo of our daughter's middle name before she was born.
Okay, wait, just side note here. If it was a little boy, would it be the wrong thing to do to be in the kid's life? I don't understand that. Just a question. I don't know what's going on there, but so far, so crazy. I cannot believe she hit the family up without him knowing and was going to dinner with them. This sounds like a psycho thriller movie so far.
After our daughter was born, Maria wanted us to be together and be a family. And when I said I didn't want to do that, she wouldn't let me see my daughter. My main source of income at the time was the Airbnb that I owned. And she said this a few months after she was born. I felt bad, so I let her move in for several months.
Okay, and in this text message, she's saying, I need to stay in your house for a couple of months. This is what I need. He didn't respond immediately. So then she kept hitting him up and saying, it's extremely frustrating that you're ignoring me, considering I'm asking you to put a roof over your daughter's head. Okay.
I'm free. Once she moved out, she told me this: I've never done anything to warrant supervised visits, but I agreed to keep the peace. I would come home as often as I could to see our daughter, and things were usually okay when I was there. These are all from her Facebook.
So now he's paying for daycare and letting them stay in a house that he owns, that he is supposedly Airbnb-ing when they're not in there, and he has to do supervised visits? For what reason? Now, of course, we don't have the girl side of the story in this whole back and forth, but so far, this sounds insane, but I'm not letting him off the hook. Reminder, he was a 23-year-old man with his whole life ahead of him who got hit up from a one-night stand who asked him to impregnate her, and he said yes? Question mark?
One Halloween, I didn't want to wear matching costumes with Maria, so she wouldn't let me see my daughter for a while. And when our daughter was being baptized, I drove a 14-hour round trip from Nashville to attend. And because I didn't want to see Maria the night before, she didn't allow me to come to the baptism at all. Soon after this, she served me with child support, saying that our original contract wasn't valid because our daughter didn't have a social security number yet.
Okay, Brett. I got 3 words for you. Better call Saul. Sounds like you got a legal problem on your hands. You need to pick up the phone right now. I feel like this is solvable. I think one lawyer's opinion would have told you, I think you have a case here with what this woman has done to you. And you got everything documented. You got the original agreement that was apparently ironclad. Whew. No, better call Saul.
And I didn't fight her on it. I didn't have the time. I was living away. I ended up paying her $10,000 up front and $750 a month. I was able to move home soon after that, and I began seeing our daughter regularly. Everything was going really well until I got a girlfriend. Even though she had a boyfriend who was regularly around our daughter, she said that my girlfriend couldn't be around our daughter. I was able to get our daughter for an afternoon, and Maria asked what I was doing. I told her that I was with my girlfriend and we were at Lowe's together. She freaked out. I said I'd bring her daughter back to her as soon as we were done, but instead Maria drove to Lowe's, apparently called my dad and was running up and down the aisle screaming. I don't know what actually happened, but she was freaking out, just blowing up my phone, thinking she was in danger. And keep in mind, my girlfriend is a mom as well as a nurse. Our daughter was never in any danger. When I offered Maria and my girlfriend to get to know each other so they'd be comfortable, with my daughter being around, she immediately said no and called my girlfriend a word that rhymes with chore and refused to get to know her.
Ooh.
Maria then made a public post saying that I was a deadbeat dad and that I hadn't seen our daughter in weeks.
Maria is crazy, y'all. And interestingly enough, I know that there's hella Marias out there in the world. So if you're a man, you better watch your back. You should go through an interview process for every woman that you are going to engage with in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking one night stand, I'm talking dating, I'm talking marriage, especially if you're going to have a baby with somebody. There needs to be a process. There needs to be stepping stones on the way to a child. It sounds like he went way too swiftly through this process, thinking that everything was going to be okay, that he was just going to give her a baby and back out, but you should have pointed her in the direction of a sperm donor, is what you should have done.
Here I am with our daughter just a few days prior to this post. I also left my best friend's bachelor party a day early so I could be home for Father's Day, and she still wouldn't allow me to see her. She even said this to my grandmother. She had her friends comment mean things on my girlfriend's social media multiple times, even though my girlfriend has never been anything but nice to Maria.
What did I say? Where there's one Maria, there's hella Marias, and somehow they all find one another, and they're kikiing it up on social media, and then they're attacking your new girlfriend.
Because Maria tends to do this, I want to make sure that she doesn't twist the story and make it seem like I abandoned our daughter. I recently found out that our daughter isn't mine. I don't know who the dad is, but I've had 2 paternity tests done, and they both say this.
When it comes to 2-year-old AJ, Colin, you are not.
I believed Maria when she told me that I was the only possible father.
I'm laughing as a coping mechanism for this man's story. First of all, also, I'm reminded of that Justin Bieber song. You know the Justin Bieber song, Maria, that's not my baby, that's not my girl. He's living it. He's actually living this moment in his life right now. You know why Maria was so worried that you were with that baby at Lowe's? It wasn't because you were with your girlfriend, it's because your girlfriend's a nurse. She heard the word nurse and thought, blood test? I gotta get to Lowe's. She had to track your ass down to make sure that girl was not getting her finger pricked by your girlfriend. That's crazy. But of course, it's all adding up now. You have a one-night stand. Months later, she calls you and is like, hey, I really want to have a baby, knowing damn well she's probably already pregnant. He says he goes through this process once she says she's ovulating, and oh, it magically works. Maria had a bun in the oven, okay, before anybody else was aware, and she was ready to play your ass. That's crazy. 0% probability of paternity. Whew.
The situation was weird, but I was always happy to be a dad. I knew that Maria already knew she was pregnant. She had to have when she asked me to get her pregnant. I didn't think that was something that someone would lie about to another human being. not only to me, but my entire family as well. Everybody's distraught about this. Maria, I allowed you to paint me as the villain and you as the victim for years to keep peace, but I hope you know that the only victim here is your child.
I know that's right. Wow, what a story. Now, of course, this is going viral for reasons that we can all understand. That's crazy. Men are in the comments talking about what it's like to survive Maria and having gone through all this and how insane she is. There are women calling this girl out and saying that she's absolutely nuts and this is such a crazy story. But that last note that he says is, you know, the one who's really the victim here is the daughter. Imagine being the child who's growing up with this crazy mother who thinks this guy is your father. He's treating you like he's your father. You're meeting his family who are apparently your grandparents, but not really your grandparents. And now he's going through this realization. I don't know how that impacts your relationship with one another. You've now spent years learning this person, thinking that this is your father. He's spent years treating you like you're his daughter. Is he going to remain in your life in some way, shape, or form now? Is he like Uncle Brett now? Are they going to track down the real father? And when they do, is that guy gonna be anybody who's worth being around and worth having as a parent? That is such a mess. And it seems as though this Maria girl is going to pop up probably at some point and respond to these allegations, and it's going to create this whole problem. And now this child's life and all the drama that this child is not even privy to is all over the internet for everyone to hear about, which is like the first no-no here. I feel like this shouldn't be brought to the public space, but since Maria was calling him a deadbeat dad and posting all this stuff, he felt the need to defend himself and respond. This is quite the predicament. And you know what? A lot of people are saying, Brett, this is crazy. I can't believe she bamboozled you. She hoodwinked you. She tricked you in this way. She pulled the wool over your eyes. But also, were there red flags that we maybe could have noticed right out of the gate, at the ripe age, at the grown big age of 23 about this woman that would have maybe led us to the conclusion that we should get to know her a little more and decide whether or not it's smart to get somebody pregnant when there's plenty of other avenues for her to achieve that goal without you having to be the father of this child. You know, I think there was a lot of signs along the way that would have told us this is not the right decision to make. And now he has to bear the responsibility of all the drama that ensues on the other end of this. And it does sound like he tried to handle it as best he could. She wanted him to be in the daughter's life. He tried to be in the daughter's life. She wanted child support. He paid the child support. She wanted to stay in one of his houses. He allowed that for the sake of this young girl. But I just wonder what the situation looks like going forward. How does one recover from this? It does sound like he's still with his nurse girlfriend and living a good life on the other end of this, but that poor girl. And Maria, she needs to go to court. She needs to be institutionalized at this point. I don't know what you do on the other end of this. I mean, it kind of feels like child abuse at a certain point. I mean, allowing somebody to be the fake father of your child and allowing your child to live under that illusion, that's absolutely insane. And luckily, this girl is probably not old enough to know what's going on, but when she reaches an age where she's able to understand, it's gonna be such a rude awakening. I really feel for that little poor girl. And I understand why this story is going viral. But where there's one Brett and Maria, I bet there's thousands of Brett and Marias. There are crazy people out there manipulating people into caring for children, having children, this, that, and the other. And that's why, for all watching right now, man, woman, I don't care who you are, what age you are, when you're getting to this step in your life, when you're considering going forward with people in ways that produce children or start relationships or start a deeper commitment, you need to analyze whether or not you're making the right decision and whether or not you're making that decision with the right person. Because a wrong step in the wrong direction sets your whole life on a whole nother path. And you could end up a Brett or a Maria or whoever else. And I think we can avoid that by using our critical thinking skills. So that's why we covered this on the channel today. Guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this story. Drop them in the comments down below. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out. We encourage healthy disagreement, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you next time. Y'all check under your bed for a Maria, because they're out there.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.